This is old school drag racing.
I've got 4 hot women who are out here kicking butt.
We get up here to the starting line. This game on, it's a serious battle.
We just hope to keep the momentum going. We know that ride's going to end someday.
Anytime you open that blue barrel of nitromethane, anything can happen.
Racing's in our blood. This is my 43rd year. I've raced ever since I've been a kid.
You can't drive by sight, because if you drive by sight, you're too late.
It's game on. I don't care who's in the other lane. It's all about winning that Ironman.
We're not giving up. It's going to be hard to hold.
Our plan is to kick everybody's plans don't always happen.
Anything can happen when the tree goes green. Welcome to the IHRA Nitro Jam. It's the second stop for the IHRA and we're in San Antonio, Texas. Here's what you missed last week. In Nitro Funny Cars, we had Jason Rupert defeat Mr. Explosive, Mark Sanders. It was Rupert's 585 at 247 to Sanders' 629 at 188. In Nitro Harleys, Mike Scott's 638 bested Jay Turner's 962.
This is really good. Got to thank Jay. He tunes the motorcycle. I just ride it. I twist the throttle and go, and he does everything else.
Nitro Altered saw Mike Hilsebeck's 696 beat Jim Maroney's 796. One of the biggest nail biters came down to the Mountain Motor Pro Stocks all-team Go-Forth final. It was Kerry Goforth up against substitute driver Todd Horner. With team owner and driver Dean Goforth sidelined with a nagging foot injury, he watched his teammate and son, Kerry, roll to victory with a 638 at 219 miles an hour over Todd Horner, and watched helplessly as Horner's car got into trouble.
Last weekend, unfortunate of a part come off on the front end, and needless to say, had a wreck, tried to keep it off the wall. Need to get some seat time because it definitely sticks with you for a while. I crashed.
Did you see him hit the wall?
No, I just seen the four-wheeler and stuff going that way, so I figured something happened. There was a malfunction on the car that we found after we got back to the pits that had happened over the winter. And just somebody forgot to tighten something up.
You just try to have the safest prepared car you can have, and just hope everything works good, and just try to keep it in between the lanes, and if it gets out of the groove, just throw the clutch in and stay to race another day.
We was lucky Todd wasn't hurt, and the car's cosmetic. There's nothing, I mean, it's just body parts.
Mountain Motor Pro Stock has a long history of being some of the most driver-intense racing to watch in the IHRA. With a max in the class of 830 cubic inches, these cars are capable of running in the 220 to 30 mile an hour range at 9,000 RPM. We set former IHRA Pro Stock winner Richie Stevens down and asked him what's exciting about driving Pro Stock.
I always wanted to drive one, even when my dad raced. He had super gas cars, and even in competition limited, he had a Roadster. And it just was never a fan of the open cockpit, and never was a fan of the automatic transmission. Just always liked the standard, the 5-speed, shifting it. I think you can feel the power a lot more when you got control of it, rather than just letting go of a button and shifting it. And no disrespect to somebody that drives one, but my preference, my favorite, my heart is in a Pro Stock car. So many variables to get into town. It's complicated. Not your average person can just get in there and drive one. I mean, you got to have coordination, and you got to know what you're doing, and it's timing, and it's precise shift points and everything like that. So I mean, you got people that have driven them for years that still probably haven't peaked. Because it's kind of something I feel like you got it or you don't. And you got some people that can just jump in a car and drive it like it's a gift. We ran 670s, which was quick. I mean, I was 17 years old running 670s at 205, 206, mile an hour. So it was a great experience in my life, and I'll never forget it.
San Antonio Raceway is the second stop on the IHRA Nitro Jam circuit. The IHRA is about the people. From the crews that work on the cars, to the drivers, and the fans, young and old. To compete in the IHRA, it takes work, and the amount of work that it goes into these cars is a full-time job. From the moment the car comes off the trailer until the final pass, it's all work.
Stay tuned to find out if Go Forth Racing can get their car back together. If they do, who's going to be in the driver's seat? It's the IHRA Nitro Jam.
Fan experience is something the IHRA has worked very hard on. Fans get an opportunity to get up close to the machines and the drivers. A fan favorite is the Jet Technology Center. It's an opportunity to see the cars, see the tech, and meet the ladies. Larson Motorsports is the brainchild and the dream of Chris Larson. Chris, a jet mechanic by trade, loves drag racing. When he and his high school sweetheart Elaine got married, Chris wanted a way he and his wife could go to the track and both have a good time.
I didn't want Elaine to be that wife that was sitting there reading a book while I did my thing. It's a recipe for disaster. How do you tell your wife that we can't afford a toaster this week because we need to buy $1,500 worth of shocks for the race car unless she's completely involved? So that's really why Elaine got into the seat.
He introduced me into his world, and I fell in love with it. First time down the track, a big smile, a spark was lit, the light turned on, and I'm a drag racer now.
Aviation and racing, eventually, I didn't know it at the time, but eventually I would merge those two passions and be right here with jet cars. Well, Elaine, at that point, we knew she was a good race car driver, and we had this huge learning curve in front of us. We didn't buy a used jet car. We built our very first jet car from scratch at a little detached garage right beside our house in Central Florida.
Lord knows how we didn't burn ourselves up to a crisp.
Racing takes money, and soon Chris was looking for sponsors. His search would take him to one of the most prestigious aeronautical universities in the country.
It couldn't have been 5 minutes. There was hundreds of students around that car. They're asking, is this part of a club? How do we get involved with this? They were late to class. Some of them skipped class so they could, and it was just this major thing.
Like any good teaching tool, the car inspired the students' imagination. And the passion became a business.
We built the first Embry-Riddle jet dragster with some really neat student involvement.
It's something that's magical here. These kids come in and their eyes are so big and they're so fascinated and they have this want to learn. They want to learn from Chris.
Success breeds success, and along came more sponsors, which gave Chris another big idea.
We always said that there was 3 ways to become a race car driver. You could be born into it, you could buy your way into it, we could sell you a seat. You want to be a race car driver? Shell out the cash. And the 3rd way to become a race car driver was to work real hard, pay your dues, and earn the position. So Marisha, that's what she did.
That little girl walked up to me. She was a pilot. She flew into an air show that Chris and I were at for Embry-Riddle. She came up to me and she goes, I'd like to drive a jet car. And I'm looking at her going, yeah, I'm sure you would. And when I didn't give her anything, any attention, the next person she went to, oh yeah, Chris. She realized very quickly that he was not the way into the team. And the minute the girl sat down with me and opened her mouth and I said, not only is this girl beautiful, not only is she likable, she has a huge heart and she is so smart, she is so talented.
She's just that really good girl that works really hard.
With 2 cars and only 1 driver, enter Marisha Falk, the first team driver for Larson Motorsports.
We were able to take 2 teams to the track. Elaine didn't have to drive for both sponsors again. And we took 2 teams to the track. It was perfect. And then we said, you know what? This is working out so good. We want more.
The team added another driver, Kat Moeller.
She put in a YouTube video for an application. And the girl took the time, and it was so poorly done. I'm going to tell you, it was so bad.
Hi, my name is Katerina Muller, and I am hoping to obtain the jet car driver position at Larson Motorsports. Ever since I was little, my wish has always been to go faster.
And finally, coming from another team, Dawn Purdue.
We love each other, and when we get up to that line, we mean business.
There was never this master plan to become this all-female domination team.
The Larsons were in a unique position, the world's first all-female jet car team. A team that works hard, plays hard.
It's not just about racing for us. It's not just about a 6-second or 5-second pass down the track. It's this whole production.
When we return, more IHRA Nitro Jam. When first round came to San Antonio Raceway, the track was ready, the fans were ready, the drivers were ready, and yes, Go Forth Racing was ready. Working hard all week,
the team managed to dust off its backup car.
I'd say probably the time factor was the biggest problem. I mean, we came here without it being completed. The boys have completed it here.
With the backup car as ready as it can be, there was only one more question. Would Dean Go Forth be ready for the driver's seat?
I've been pushing myself, I'm out, you know, at Tucson I had a boot on, a walking boot. Well, I took that off and somebody asked me if the doctor told me to, and I just decided to, and I said, well, I hadn't really saw the doctor, I just maybe thought, maybe I can't drive that car with a boot on.
Even though he is a team owner, nothing is better than driving, so Dean prepared to drive here in San Antonio.
I think I stayed in that car probably 30, 40 minutes this morning with all of us checking out what's going on, and I was still going to drive the car.
But the crew had other ideas.
I told him, heck with you. No, I didn't. That's what I wanted to tell him. I was only about 50% decided myself, so, I mean, it wasn't impossible to talk me out of it, so. Figured I'd be better off to let Todd wreck 2 of them than me wreck 1 of them, so I just let Todd drive it.
With Todd back in the car, we'll see how he does in round 1 eliminations.
It was real tight tonight, and that's good. That's good for business right there.
It's Pete Burner against Todd Horner.
How do you feel about your win with a 631 and advancing to the next round?
Hey, that was a great run. Jeff made a great call on the car as usual, and just tickled to go on to the next round. Pete's a heck of a competitor, and got to have your A game for him, that's for sure.
Next is John DeFlorian against teammate Kevin Bilko.
That felt great. Finally got an A to B run out here. We've been struggling all weekend long to try to get a decent run to go down this track.
Nitro Harleys, round 1. From Alberta, Canada, it's Mike Pelgrin.
You couldn't see.
No, my fuel got full of oil. I couldn't tell where I was.
Oh, wow, it really did. Do we see this here? Oh, my. Well, you're the winner.
It's a nice pass by Louisiana's own Randall Andros.
We slowed it down a little bit for the track conditions, and it seemed that was the magic right there.
Randall looks like he's finally figured out how to dial it in for these track conditions.
Track is funny over here with a little heat, you know. Sometimes you gotta slow down and go fast. Crazy.
Next up, Jay Turner against Mike Scott. And Mike Scott smokes the tires, and Turner with trouble of his own as the chutes come out early.
Well, you won it. It was a little ugly.
It was definitely ugly. I was trying to, I spun the tire on the starting line and pedaled it, got back in. It was trucking pretty good. And then probably about 800 feet, I felt like I was going over the handlebars. I was going, what the hell is going on? And the parachute came out. Winning ugly is better than losing pretty.
Moving on, it's Nitro Altereds. It's Ron Hope's Rat Trap against Ron Maroney's Blind Faith.
We're having fun, and I guess we're in the final.
Nitro Funny Cars is Tim Boychuk against Mike Smith. The Jungle Gym car slides around, but still takes the win.
588, and that thing was all over the place, man.
Next up is John Hale against crowd favorite, Mr. Explosive, Mark Sanders.
Good news, you won.
Oh, baby! Right here at the Big Texas, yes! The Saturday night, oh, man. That thing was sliding and shaking, and I pedaled it. Stuff was falling off. I just thought, whoa! Then I saw Hale coming down there. Woo, baby, that'll make it happy.
Finally, it's Jason Rupert in his Bays and Rupert Camaro going up against Ronnie Young in the world-famous Blue Max.
Congratulations. Low ET of the round with a 581. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. It got a little loose, got towards the wall a little bit. I had to drive it.
With round one over, the winners head to the pits to make adjustments with what they had learned. We'll see if it's sorted out for the semifinals. Semifinals kick off with Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Scott Hines squares up against John DeFleury.
Yeah, it's a good run.
In a replay of last week, teammates. Here he go forth against Todd Horner.
I'm 300s down, so I got work to do.
Not quite as Florian.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's salty, and that's a good team over there.
So the finals are set in Mountain Motor Pro Stock. It's Kerry Goforth against John DeFlorian. Next up is Nitro Harleys.
640?
640, I'll take it. It's way better than 730.
What do you think next round's going to be like?
We'll see what happens to Randall.
Randall Andros would take the win and see Jay Turner in the finals. Moving on to Nitro Funny Car, Mike Smith saddles up to Mark Sanders.
Getting better. We're going to have to really step up for the final. It's getting pretty cold out here.
Smoking.
Yeah, smoking. Mr. Explosive, baby.
It's finally Jason Rupert against Greg Jacobsmeyer. Both drivers would smoke the tires, but Rupert gets the win. The finals are waiting, track conditions are changing, and even the Jets are having trouble figuring it out.
I know I took a green light because you know we were plagued with these red lights and not doing that. I know I took a green. I heard Kat blast off beside me. I know she came back down. Oh, no, I just want my other two girls to be safe.
Everyone was safe, even though the Jet program continued to struggle to be consistent.
That was a good run for me, and you know, so I don't know what happened to Marissa, but we're on for the next round.
Up against the lane?
Is it a lane?
It is.
Yeah, it is a lane.
We checked in with Jason Rupert, and it seems he's figured out his problems from his previous run.
We had an oil leak, and basically it got under the right-hand side tire, and when it did that, it started skipping the tire and tried to make it go, you know, the opposite way, and started shaking. But I thought we just blew the tires off. We get back, and the thing just bathed in oil, and went, well, we better start looking for something.
John DeFlorian clearly sees his first Ironman in his sights.
You got two cars that are pretty evenly matched right now. That's a great team over there. And we've been battling for years together, so this is like some old-time rivalry here. We're looking forward to it. If everything goes right, I think we might have something for them and try to get this job done, get us one of those nice little trophies.
Can Kerry Goforth repeat his winning performance of last week? John DeFlorian is looking to bring home his first victory. Here we go. It's the Pro Stock Finals. It's a whole shot victory for John DeFlorian. An emotional victory. And it has one more surprise.
That right there, that's for my mom. That's for my mom. She died last week. I really want to get this one for, thank God. 622 fan, what kind of speed did it go?
You want to hear this? Are you ready for this?
I don't know if I'm ready for anything.
226. It's a new IHRA record.
Yes! 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 Thank God! That's awesome!
John DeFlorian brings his team their first victory and beats a 5-year-old IHRA speed record.
I needed that. That was for my mom, man.
I know.
You had my mom.
You didn't need any motivation.
Nitro Harley's Jay Turner, who has 12 wins in IHRA competition, is looking to add another. Lining up against his teammate, Randall Andros, who has 3 wins. Even teammates know when the visor goes down, it's every man for themselves. Jay red lights, and Andros wins his first Ironman of the year.
634.
Wow, when you're doing low 30s or mid 30s, somewhere right there.
Nitro Altereds roll in the lanes. It's Ron Hope up against Mike Hilsabeck. Ron Hope picks up an Ironman.
8 flat.
Wow, that I'm almost ashamed to take that, but hey, it was first, I guess.
Mike Smith is ready to deny Rupert a second win in a row. Jason Rupert turns on the wind light, and Mike Smith has some issues and goes off the track.
574, and how do you feel about it? Congratulations.
I feel good. I just don't like seeing that kind of stuff happen.
Gotta love IHRA, and thanks for bringing nostalgia funny cars to the forefront. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
For the points and the Ironman, it's Elaine Larson against Dawn Purdue. And Elaine Larson gets her win.
You win.
It was another great batch of racing. Join us next time from the Southern Nationals in Bradenton, Florida. I'm Clay Millican, and we'll see you next time for the IHRA Nitro Jam.